Welcome back to Kuma English Listening Hub. In today's episode, we are going to slow down. In a world of cheap flights, tight schedules, and endless social media posts, many people feel pressure to travel quickly and see as many places as possible. But there is another way to explore the world. It is called slow travel. In this C1 level listening episode, we will look at what slow travel is, why it is becoming more popular, and how it can change the way we understand culture, time, and even ourselves. You will hear advanced vocabulary, nuanced opinions, and real-life examples. So, relax, maybe make yourself a cup of tea, and let's begin. First, let's define slow travel. Slow travel is not simply about moving slowly. It is a mindset, a philosophy of travel. Instead of trying to visit 5 countries in 10 days, slow travelers prefer to stay longer in one place. They walk more and rush less. They talk to local people, shop at neighborhood markets, and repeat the same walk through the same streets until those streets feel almost familiar. Many people compare slow travel to slow food. The slow food movement started as a reaction to fast food. It encouraged people to enjoy local, traditional dishes made from fresh ingredients. In a similar way, slow travel is a reaction to fast tourism. It questions the idea that a successful trip is one with a long list of famous sights and impressive photos. Instead, it focuses on depth of experience rather than quantity of experiences. Imagine 2 travelers visiting the same city. The first traveler, let's call her Anna, has 3 days. She wants to see everything. She rushes from the old town to the modern art museum, then to a cathedral, a palace, a viewpoint, and finally, a night market. She takes hundreds of photos but speaks to almost no one. She returns home with a full memory card, but a very short personal story. The second traveler, David, also has 3 days. However, he chooses a different approach. On the first day, he walks slowly through one district, sits in a cafe, listens to the language around him, and writes a few notes in his journal. On the second day, he visits the same cafe again. This time, the barista recognizes him and starts a conversation. On the third day, David joins a local cooking class. He learns how to prepare a traditional dish and hears stories about the history of the area. When he returns home, he has fewer photos but deeper memories. This is the spirit of slow travel. Slow travel is not only about personal pleasure, it is also connected to culture and to the environment. Let's look first at the cultural side. Traditional mass tourism often creates a bubble. Tourists stay in international hotels, eat in restaurants designed for foreigners, and move in large groups from one attraction to another. They see the country, but mostly through glass: the bus window, the hotel window, and the phone screen. In contrast, slow travel tries to break this bubble. Slow travelers actively seek contact with local life. They may stay in guest houses, homestays, or small family-run hotels. They often use public transport instead of tour buses. They choose restaurants where the menu is not translated into 10 languages, even if that means they have to ask questions and sometimes feel uncomfortable. This discomfort is actually important. When you travel slowly, you have time to be confused, to make mistakes, and to learn. Maybe you take the wrong bus and end up in a neighborhood that is not in any guidebook. Maybe you order a dish without fully understanding what it is. These small adventures can become moments of real cultural discovery. Slow travel can also help you notice details that fast tourists miss. You might observe how people greet each other in the morning, how they behave on trains, how they dress for work, or how they spend time with their families in the evening. These everyday scenes can tell you more about a place than the most famous monument. Now, let's connect slow travel with the environment. Modern tourism has a serious environmental cost. Flights produce large amounts of carbon emissions. Cruise ships pollute the oceans. Popular destinations struggle with mountains of waste and constant traffic. Slow travel does not magically solve these problems, but it can reduce your impact. For example, slow travelers often choose trains instead of planes, at least for shorter distances. They may travel less frequently, but stay longer in each destination. This means fewer flights per year and a lower carbon footprint. In many cases, slow travelers also support small local businesses rather than large international chains. They buy bread from a nearby bakery, fruit from a street market, and souvenirs from local artisans. This money stays in the community and can encourage more sustainable forms of tourism. Of course, slow travel is not perfect. It has its critics. Some people argue that slow travel is a luxury. After all, not everyone can take long holidays or work remotely from another country. If you have only 1 week of vacation per year, you might feel that slowing down is not realistic. This criticism is valid, but slow travel does not have to mean extremely long trips. It can also mean changing your attitude on a short holiday. Even in 5 days, you can choose to visit one city instead of 3. You can skip some attractions in order to sit in a park and simply watch life around you. You can decide that it is fine if your trip does not look impressive on social media. Another criticism is that slow travel can easily become a fashionable label. Some people use the term to make their trip sound more meaningful than it really is. They say they are slow travelers, but their main focus is still collecting beautiful photos for Instagram. Like any trend, slow travel can be reduced to marketing language. However, the core idea remains powerful. Slow travel asks a simple but challenging question. Why are you traveling? Are you traveling to escape your normal life? To show off? To follow trends? Or to genuinely connect with other places and people? When you answer honestly, you can design a trip that fits your values. Let's talk now about time. In many societies, time is treated as a resource that must be used efficiently. We divide our days into appointments, tasks, and deadlines. This way of thinking often continues even when we travel. We create strict itineraries where every hour has a purpose. Slow travel challenges this relationship with time. It suggests that useless time can be valuable. Wandering without a clear goal, sitting in silence with a view, or getting lost in side streets can feel like a waste from a productivity perspective. But these moments can create mental space. They allow you to process new experiences and notice small details. For many slow travelers, one of the most memorable parts of a trip is not a famous monument, but a quiet morning in a cafe, a spontaneous conversation on a train, or an evening walk with no destination. These experiences are difficult to plan and impossible to buy. They can happen only when your schedule has enough empty space. Slow travel can also change the way you remember a place. When you rush, your memories can mix together. You might forget which cathedral was in which city, or where you ate a particular dish. But when you stay longer and repeat routines, memories become sharper. You remember the face of the woman who sold you bread every day. You remember the sound of children playing in the courtyard below your apartment. Your relationship with the place becomes more personal. Of course, slow travel is not always easy. It requires certain skills. You need to be comfortable with uncertainty, because you cannot control or plan every moment. You need patience, because some days will feel uneventful. You also need curiosity, because slow travel is about asking questions and listening carefully to the answers. Let's look at some practical ways to travel more slowly, even if your time is limited. First, you can reduce the number of destinations. Instead of trying to see 5 cities in one trip, choose 1 or 2 and explore them in depth. Second, you can choose one small daily ritual. For example, you might go to the same cafe every morning, or take a short walk in the same park before dinner. This routine helps you feel temporarily rooted, even in a new place. Third, you can learn some basic phrases in the local language and actually use them. Even a simple greeting or a short question shows respect and opens doors. It also forces you to interact with people rather than staying inside the comfortable bubble of your own language. Fourth, you can limit your use of social media during the trip. Instead of posting in real time, you can keep a small notebook. Each evening, you write down what you saw, heard, and felt. Later, after the trip, you can decide what to share online. This small change can make you more present. Now, let's focus on language. Here are some useful words and expressions from this episode. Listen, and if you can, repeat them. Slow travel. A style of travel that focuses on staying longer, moving less, and experiencing places more deeply. Mindset. a particular way of thinking or attitude. Bubble, a situation where you are separated from what is really happening around you. Carbon footprint, the amount of carbon dioxide produced by a person, activity, or trip. Sustainable tourism, tourism that tries to reduce its negative impact on the environment and local communities. Itinerary, a detailed plan of a journey, including dates and places. Rooted, connected strongly to a place or community. To rush, to move or act quickly, often without thinking carefully. To immerse yourself, to become completely involved in an activity or place. Nuanced, showing a small difference in meaning, opinion, or feeling, not simple or black and white. Now, let's talk about how you can use this episode to improve your English. Here is one study routine you can try. First, listen once without reading the transcript. Focus on the main ideas. Ask yourself, what exactly is slow travel, and why do some people prefer it? Second, listen again while reading the script. Notice how I organize the ideas. Pay attention to linking expressions such as however, in contrast, on the other hand, and at the same time. These phrases are very useful at C1 level. Third, choose a short paragraph and practice shadowing. Shadowing means listening and speaking at the same time, copying the rhythm and intonation. This can feel difficult at first, but it is excellent training for your pronunciation and fluency. Fourth, do a short speaking task. Record a 2-minute audio message answering this question. If you had 10 days of vacation, how would you design a slow travel trip? And where would you go? Try to use some of the vocabulary from this episode. Then listen to your recording and notice where you hesitate or repeat yourself. Fifth, do a writing task. Write a short, argumentative paragraph on this topic. Slow travel is only realistic for rich people with a lot of free time. Do you agree or disagree? Give at least 2 reasons and 1 example. This will help you practice expressing complex opinions in English. To finish, here are some reflection questions. You can think about them, discuss them with a friend, or write your answers. 1. When you travel, do you usually prefer to see many places or to stay longer in one place? Why? 2. Can you remember a moment from a trip when you slowed down and really observed local life? What happened? 3. Do you think tourism can ever be truly sustainable, or is there always a cost for local communities and the environment? 4. How has social media changed the way people travel and share their experiences? Woo! If you practice slow travel in your own city for 1 day, what would you do differently? You have reached the end of this episode of Kuma English Listening Hub. Today, we explored slow travel and what it means to discover the world at a human pace. We talked about cultural connection, environmental impact, the pressure of time, and the skills you need to travel more slowly. Remember, you do not need to go far or spend a lot of money to apply these ideas. You can practice the slow travel mindset even on a walk in your own neighborhood. Notice details, talk to people, and give yourself time to simply be in a place. Thank you for joining me for this C1 listening practice. If you found it helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who is also learning English. See you next time on Kuma English Listening Hub. Until then, travel thoughtfully, stay curious, and keep learning every day.